Hey, sixth graders, today we are looking at page 6 and 7 in your data books. We are doing the two pages that are going to be titled Shape of Distribution. So we should already have these pictures drawn in, glued in. If you don't have them glued in, put them in there, or if you don't have them, go ahead and start drawing. So, shape of distribution. We're going to talk all about how our graphs and things have a shape to them. So one of the words that we use a lot of times is we use this word called skewness. Now it's really weird. We just call it skew normally. But it's a really weird word, but basically it means how the shape is like tilted, kind of. So for instance, if you're looking at these three pictures over here, the first one that we have is symmetric. Symmetric, if you folded it in half, each side would be identical. So if I took this and I folded it right down the middle and I folded this side over here, both sides are the same. So they would kind of lay on top of each other nice and perfect. That is symmetrical. Now, if we have a skew, that means that it's not perfectly symmetrical and we kind of veer to one side. So the first one we're going to look at is skewed left, which we call a negative skew. You'll see that when it goes up here, we have like this tail that goes out. Because this tail goes out to this way, that's why it's skewed left. So if it drags out longer that way, that's which way it's skewed. Same for over here, skewed right. This one's called positive. It goes up and then it goes way out to the right. So it's skewed out to the right. That's how you remember. It's whichever way it tails out. Now down below here, I wrote those. So we wrote skewed left, tail goes to the left, skewed right, tail goes to the right. Symmetrical, which was also up above, is both sides are the same. And then one that's not up there but that we want to add is uniform. Uniform actually is just a straight line. So it like doesn't have like a curve at all. It just is a straight line, straight across. Now down below, this was all about the shape. So when we're talking about shape, you're either going to pick skewed left, skewed right, symmetrical, or uniform. Now, some other questions that they might ask us down here is about where the center is. So if they ask us about the center, we have to look back at the shape because it depends on the shape. That's why I have this arrow pointed up here. It depends on which one above. So for instance, if the shape is symmetrical, the center is going to be where the mean is. So you'll see in this picture up here that they're all labeled. Let me zoom out for a second. So my mean is right in the center of my symmetrical piece. So right there. My mean is my center. If it's not symmetrical, so either of these two, your median is going to be your center. So you'll see in these two, I'll use yellow, my median here, that is my center. So those two are right there. So it just depends on the shape. Now always your mode is going to be your peak. So when we're looking up here at our peaks, our mode is going to be at the highest point because it's the most. So think about it. It's the most, so it's going to go the highest. Mode most. And then our center is always our median. So no matter which of the three shapes up above, your median is also your center, even in the symmetrical, because the mean, median, and mode are in the center for symmetrical. Now the last piece down here is our spread. Now of course, for some reason they just like to add words. And instead of just using range and difference, they added another word and they called it spread. So if something asks for the spread, it's the same thing as our range, which means we're finding the difference. It's just another way of putting it, nothing new. Okay, let's go to the second page. My second page, also titled Shape of Distribution. This should be your page 7 because our pages should be the same unless you number it ahead, but that's okay. On this page here, we have 3 pictures at the top. They're kind of funky. They got like kangaroos on them. These are all stem and leaf plots, which is fine because it's good to practice this one. Stem and leaf, and I'm going to show you here when I turn it on the side. You have to turn it on the side to be able to see what the shape is. So on this first one here, let me circle it so you know which one I'm talking about. I'm looking at this one. I can't tell the shape looking at it like it is right now. So I'm going to turn it to the side. Oops, it's not letting me. I have to turn it to the side, and then I have to draw my line around the edges to see where my shape is at. So I'm going to use green here. So I start here at the bottom, and I'm just going to draw a rough around. Now this one, if you look over at your images of your shape on the other side, if we fold this in half, that's pretty darn symmetrical. The one side is going to look just like the other. So it looks like each side is the same. So this one would be symmetrical. So I'm going to go ahead and label that right here.
Your ride is waiting at the front. If you know where Clayton King is, please either text or give me a call.
Symmetrical. Now, same thing for these two. Oops, it's
Clayton King to the front office.
doing something funny now. So now, oh my gosh, I turned you guys upside down, I think. I hope not. Okay, now let's look at this one. So it is a stem and leaf right here, and you'll see that they went ahead and they rotated it and turned it on its side. So this second kangaroo image over here is when they turned it on its side. So if we draw our line just like we did over there, we kind of follow our rough estimate here of what it was. It tails off over here to the left. So that makes it a negative skew or skewed left, because our tail goes to the left. Down here, this one, they took this stem and leaf right here, they turned it on its side, we draw our shape on it, and it's tailing off to the right. So that would be a positive skew or skewed right. Now down here we have dot plots. So up top we were looking at the shape of our stem and leaf. Down here is dot plots. Dot plots are a little easier because you don't have to turn them on their side. They're already as a shape. So you just have to go ahead and follow the shape. This one tails off to the left, so that one would be skewed left. This one is a straight line. Over there we said if it's a straight line, then it is uniform. And then this one looks like it's about the same on both sides. There's not really a tail. So this one would be symmetrical. So you have to be able to look at, no matter if it's a dot plot or a stem and leaf, and we have to turn it on its side, we have to know, is there a tail? Is it a straight line? Or are both sides about the same and it's symmetrical? Okay, once you have this, you'll be able to answer more questions for our stem and leaf and dot plot packet. So just make sure you have this done, and I will see you guys soon.